And welcome back to Grandma's house and my very first duping video. Now, I am going to insert a picture here of a Marotta, I might not be pronouncing that right, M-A-R-O-T-T-A, 10-inch picture that look very similar to this, and it's for $399. I love the look, hate the price. And I also seen another one at Pottery Barn. Again, loved it, but hated the price. And that was a Marlowe picture for $183. And it was 15 inches tall. This one is 15 and a half, but we're going to dupe it for a whole lot less. And this is the bowl that I'm going to make. At the Marlowe one was $183 as well. So I think we can make the look for a whole lot less. So come with me, let's see how we do. Paint it white because it does have some leaf decal on it right there, and I don't want that. So I am going to spray paint the inside white, and I'm going to spray paint the exterior of both pieces black. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will come back and show it to you then. Now this one is called California Garden, and I paid $5 for this at a garage sale. And this one, it has no maker's mark, but it is, what is it called? Red terracotta bowl. And I'm going to paint this one as well. And again, there's no maker's mark on it. So I will come back when I've got them all painted up and show you what my next step will be. Painted my water picture. I gave the inside one coat of the white, and the outside I gave it 2 coats of the Rustoleum paint and primer, the 2-in-1, and I did the same thing on my little bowl. Now, and then after that was dry, I gave it both 2 coats of clear coats, because our next step is we're going to put on a coat of chalk paint with baking soda in it, and then we're going to distress it a bit. But between each step, I like to clear coat it, just because I want, if I'm distressing it, I want to make sure that the black is where I want it, that the colors don't blend together and we end up with a gray color. I mean, of course, if I'm going for gray, I wouldn't do that, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to go and get the baking soda, and we'll mix it in with the chalk paint, and we'll get started on the next step. Is I'm going to put 4 parts paint into 1 part baking soda. Now I know there are other recipes or other instructions, whatever you want to call them, but I've used this one before and it's worked great. I've got great coverage and it has stayed on nicely, and it gives me the right texture that I'm looking for. But by all means, play around with it and see what kind of texture you want. I want this first coat to look more like a cement base. So this is the mixture that, like I said, I've used before, and it's always worked fine. Some people like to add water to it, and I did try that, but it gave it a little less texture. Like I didn't have as much texture as I wanted. the more baking soda you add to your paint, the more texture you're going to have, obviously. So, when using a textured paint or like this, you want to pull your paint in the same direction, because when it dries, you will see the lines of the texture. Now I'm using a very thick, coarse brush because I do want these lines to be quite coarse. If you don't want that, of course, use a finer brush. I don't want to get, I'm going to leave the handles on this black, so I'm just going to go around it. I should probably take that off, and I might, we'll see. I'll just show this to you. This is what I'm saying. Now, I will bring it all the way up, like here I've kind of left this spot. I will bring that all up, going in the same direction. And then, of course, I am going to go in a circular motion around the sides of the bowl. And on the vase, not vase, the pitcher, I will be going around the pitcher this way, around this way, so I can mimic the design of the vase that I'm trying to do, or the water pitcher that I'm trying to do. Okay, I'll give this a coat of paint and I'll be back. I did my distressing. I did do the bowl, and as you can see, there's some distressing along the sides and along the back. Now, I don't like the lines that you will see right in, like here, so I wish I hadn't painted the lines that way. I wish I had actually painted them in a circular motion, but this is done, so I'm going to try to distress it a little. Oh, and I did use water distressing technique, and what that is just I use a wet one, and I'm going to show you because I'm going to redo this. Just go around in different, wherever you want it distressed, and wipe away the chalk paste. Now, if you do this when it is maybe a couple hours dry, it's a lot easier. If you wait, like I did, a whole night, it's a little bit harder to wipe the paint off. So, my advice to you is do it when it's still wet, or a couple hours after the paint has dried. And now I'm going to distress the vase as well. And I don't know, I think you can see it here, that there's a little bit of a swirl. I'm going to come around because I don't know if you can actually see that on the camera. There it is. You can see that there's a swirl there. I am going to lightly distress that, and then I will add some more distressing throughout. But I'm just going to show you how I distress it with a wet one. And I like to distress the tips, like where the water pours from, a little more, because that would typically be where the paint would wear off if you were actually pouring water from this. So as you can see, just by using a wet one, you can distress it without going through and taking off that black paint. And that's also where it helps to coat the black paint with the polyacrylic. It just helps the paint stay put. And you can see there. So I'm going to go ahead and distress this, and I'm going to fix the bottom of that bowl with painting painting the bottom of this with the same paint with the baking soda in it, but I'm going to put it in a circular motion so that you don't see the lines going straight across. Exactly what I warned you not to do. I went ahead and did it. So I'm going to be fixing that. I just thought I'd jump back in to show you why I'm using the wet one to distress versus the sandpaper. To do these little areas like this, it's a lot easier to get into those areas with a wet one or a wet cloth and distress it that way than using the sandpaper. So I just thought I would get in and show you that. And I think I'm pretty well done with my distressing. I think it's pretty well enough. I am going to, oh no, a little more right here. But then I think it's okay, and I can go ahead and put the polyacrylic on it. And the polyacrylic will obviously seal this all in so that it won't distress every time I go to wash it. So my bowl, I've left the handle flat, done a little bit of distressing. I ended up painting the inside again because I didn't like the way that turned out with just the string. And my picture. I love the way this turned out. I think it's absolutely perfect. I like the price, much better than the $300 one at Wayfair and the $185 one from Pottery Barn. And I think mine are every bit the same. So I'm going to go and put it where it's going to live, and then I'll show you it once again, and then I'll say goodbye. And there it is, sitting right by my front door. Well, there's my front door, and there it is, a little side table, and I think it is absolutely perfect. I love the way it turned out, and it's a whole lot better at the price. So that's a wrap. I know. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today while I redid a vase and bowl. I absolutely love the way they turned out, and what I do next week, no idea. Just kind of roll with the punches, roll with whatever's happening. But until then, I hope you go out and love and nurture everyone and everything in your part of the world. Until next time.